Now then, folks, how you doing? Happy Halloween. It's James, JT at the movies, joined again by the beautiful Laura, my lovely girlfriend. And we're bringing this video to you probably a day late, really. You'll probably be seeing it on the 1st of November rather than Halloween. And that's because some absolute dingus decided that she was going to light a black flame candle, and we ended up having to do battle with the Sanderson sisters.
Sorry.
Of course I'm joking, but we thought we'd share our thoughts with you on the recent sequel, Hocus Pocus 2. For anyone who's watched my previous What Have I Been Watching video on the channel, you'll see that for the first time this year ever, me and Laura watched the first Hocus Pocus. Can you believe it? I'm a film fan and I've not seen Hocus Pocus until this year. It's shameful, really, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, we put the world to right by watching that film and checking it off the list of classics that should be seen, and really enjoyed it. My thoughts on that film were that I think I would have got a lot more out of it had I originally watched it as a young lad in the 90s.
Probably, yeah, absolutely.
And you echoed that, didn't you, really, Laura?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been watching it purely for nostalgia reasons, but the fact that we watched it so late on, it just... Yeah, we would have gotten more out of it, I think. If
absolutely, yeah. So we're not coming at it from a nostalgic angle. We're coming at it, as a completely fresh sort of thing. And I think, like you say, it does change the perspective and the sort of how the film comes across to you. But enjoyed it nonetheless, and it's definitely a film that I would rewatch.
Absolutely.
So after we'd watched that, of course, we then had to find some time to watch the sequel, which is what prompted this whole thing anyway, really. So Hocus Pocus 2. I enjoyed it. You absolutely loved it, didn't you?
I loved it to the point where I went as Winifred Sanderson for Halloween.
She did indeed. We did a Halloween gig, and us boring lads in the band decided that we would dress smartly, but that we weren't going to dress up. And Laura, credit to her, did the green jacket and the cloak and the stripy socks and the works. Did her hair.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I liked this film. Laura loved it. My commentary, I don't know if you can call it a criticism really, but my commentary on it was that it was a greatest hits tour. And I suppose really for any, well, I'm saying that for any later day sequel, and I know it's not the same caliber of film as Top Gun Maverick or something like that, so comparing it's silly, but obviously you can cover new ground, I suppose, is the point I'm trying to make with these sequels that are made 10, 20, 30 years later or whatever, as we've seen in abundance for the last decade. But whereas this one kind of does a Star Wars Force Awakens, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
It sort of retreads all the pivotal moments of the first one, but with the new settings, the new cast, and sort of does all the nods and the winks, doesn't it? And goes, oh, do you remember that?
Yeah. I think there was a scene where they were in the Walgreens and they started doing that walk that they did in the first film, and I literally looked at you and just went, they're doing the thing!
Yeah, and there were a few times that you did that, or there were a few times that I sort of looked at you and went, was that something from the first one or whatever? And then, they brought back the Billy Butcherson character again, and
same actor.
I'm just going to say the same actor as well. It was really nice that he came back as well for that bit of continuity, because under that much makeup they could have put anybody really, and you wouldn't have noticed. So it was nice that they gave Doug Jones the call and said, come back and do another one, mate. I suppose the three leads are different. Or sorry, the three protagonists, aren't they? Because the antagonists are obviously the witches, and they do a brilliant job. Do all three? Sarah Jessica Parker, Kathy Najimy, and Bette Midler all do a great job. But then we've got these three new girls that take over the lead roles from the kids in the first one. And is it Cassie, Izzy, and Becca?
Yeah.
I remembered, and that's not because this is the second time we're trying to shoot this video at all. But no, yeah, they're really nice, and you've got the two girls, haven't you? Is it Izzy and Becca?
Yeah.
That are really good friends, and they were really good friends, are really good friends with Cassie, but there's been this sort of complicated relationship since she's got a boyfriend that hangs out with a different crowd to the crowd that they grew up with, all the usual sort of teenage drama, and rather than just picking up the phone or meeting up for, or whatever, and or texting it out or whatever, they just all decide that they don't like each other.
Yeah.
And then the events of this film, sort of on Halloween night, bring them back together. The museum this time, it's a gift shop, isn't it? And a magic shop. And it's run by Gilbert, who's sort of like this sort of side character of the film, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit obsessed with the Sanderson sisters though, because he saw them very briefly. Another callback to the first film. He saw them as a boy flying overhead, and he ran to the graveyard just to watch them disappear, sort of at the end of the first film.
Yeah, and they sort of intercut scenes, didn't they, from the first film? 'Cause it wasn't actually something in the first film, but they gave him this this arc, and so it doesn't say how, but he makes another candle, doesn't he? Another black flame candle.
I can imagine it wasn't pretty, considering the black flame candles are made out of the fat of man.
Yeah. I say he probably had a trip down the liposuction clinic, or like, I don't know, snuck in a morgue on Black Friday or something like that and got himself a... Oh, dearie me. But yeah, so he ends up tricking the young girls into lighting the candle, and obviously all hell breaks loose, much in the same fashion as it did, you know. Like the bus ride in the first one, and then being mystified by a bus, was the trip to Walgreens in this one, wasn't it? And then they did another musical number. It was, you know, Spell on You in the first one, and then this one it was the Blondie song, wasn't it? And then they did the Elton John cover as well, which I thought was actually better than the original.
Yeah, it really is.
And I'm an Elton John fan, but I don't care for that song. But I really enjoyed the three of them singing that song as the witch is back. It tickled me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, it treads exactly the same path as the original, and doesn't really do anything spectacularly new. And obviously the girls sort of defeat the witches by sort of using their own magic against them. That's the one thing I would say that it does do a little bit differently, that I maybe would have liked to have seen explored a bit more, is that this time the young girls that have lit the candle and you know, battling the witches are also witches themselves.
Yeah.
Or at least one of them is, and she can share the powers between them. So that was something I maybe would have liked to have seen explored a bit more, but you never know, they might end up doing a third one, as they've teased with post-credits and all that, you know, good stuff that we get with every movie these days, because everything has to be set up as a universe, doesn't it? What are you wanting to ask me?
Question. $1 million question. Who's your favourite witch?
So that's different for each film, because in the first one, I really, really enjoyed Sarah Jessica Parker's character. But in the second one, I found Kathy Najimy to be the most endearing. Yeah. I mean, I like all three of them, but I thought that Kathy Najimy was really, really sweet and sort of quite funny and a little bit sinister in just the right ways in this one. Whereas she was obviously a complete goof in the first one, as she was supposed to be. She just had a slightly meaner edge to her in this one that I did quite like.
I think that's why for me it's the same. It's Kathy Najimy for both films though, just because, again, like you said, she was a bit more of a goof in the first one, doing more of the, you know, the dog impressions. But in the second one, she really ups the creep factor of it. Just
a little bit, but she maintained the humour as well, and I felt like she was probably the... Not that there's much character development with the witches at all. She was the one that seemed to have developed the most. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Was it anything special? No, it wasn't. Is it going to go down in history as one of the greatest sequels of all time? No, it's not. But can you put this on, switch your brain off and enjoy it? You know, sit down with the family, the kids or whatever and enjoy it? Absolutely, yes, you can. And for that reason, I think I would give this film a 7 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9.
You're giving it a 9. Well, Laura really enjoyed it, and that's the takeaway from this video. Folks, if you've enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed Hocus Pocus 2, let's have a chat about it in the comments down below. Get involved. We love to natter to you in those comments. It really is great fun, so please do. If you've liked the video, drop it a thumbs up as well. Let's me, let's YouTube, let's Laura, let's my next door neighbour know that you've liked these videos and that you want to see more of them. And if you are new here and this is the first time you're seeing me and us, hello, nice to meet you. Please think about subscribing. I would love to keep you around for future videos, and of course it helps the channel to grow as well. Above all else, folks, take care of yourselves, and either me or me and Laura will see you again real soon for some future videos. Cheers.